According to the president of the RP party, Mudge says that he tried to convince other opposition parties not to compete against each other in constituencies, but to rather endorse one candidate who will go against the ruling party. Mudge also alleges that party leaders, such as the president of the Independent Patriots for Change, Panduleni Itula, has refused to work with other opposition parties.
The opposition parties in Namibia, it is very, very disappointing to see that even with this election, where we could have put SWAPO to bed forever with the regional councils, where I tried to convince the other political parties that we should not compete against one another in constituencies, so that we have one candidate against SWAPO. We could have taken over all the regional councils. We could have taken over the national council. But for some reason they didn't want to do it, especially Itula. He is not prepared to work with any party. He said it in public, which is, I think, politically a very immature statement to make. No opposition party in this country will, for a very long time, and not even Itula with his IPC, will for a very long time be in a position where they can go it on their own. We will need to work together, and hopefully after this election the opposition leaders will realize that. But this is unfortunately the biggest disappointment for me with this election.
For many African countries, elections where the ruling party is taken on by strong opposition parties often end in violence. According to multiple international media reports, more than 30 supporters of Uganda's youthful opposition candidate Bobi Wine have died in violent clashes between state security forces in the first days of the country's election season. Political analyst Nico Horn, during a recent interview with Today on One, praised political parties in Namibia for maintaining a conducive environment for peace and democracy during the elections, adding that Namibia is an excellent model country for democracy on the continent.
It was a wonderful example of democracy, with all these new parties, very passionate campaigns, and yet no big trouble, It's not like people were chasing each other around or, making trouble at the polling stations. We don't know of any big fights, any, bad cultural conduct, nothing like that. It was just people being part of a peaceful election. And I think that's a good example, not only for our neighbors, but for the rest of Africa. I'm sure there's never been a real robust election in Africa with this kind of peacefulness. So I think as Namibians we can all be very proud.
Opposition parties such as the IPC, which was only formed less than 6 months ago, and the LPM, which was formed less than 2 years ago, have taken the political arena by storm after they managed to take the lead in many of the constituencies that were traditionally under the authority of the ruling party, SWAPO.